Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Money Talk with Linda Kaye. Today, we're going to talk about a lot of things, but of course, all things and how they relate to how we make money. Now, have you ever noticed that there are some people that you saw them speak live and you think, I'm not any different than them, and I have great product and I have great presence, or I have services that sound or similar to them, but they seem to be knocking it out of the park. What's up with that? Are you leaving money on the table unnecessarily? Are you leaving money and you don't even know that you're leaving money? Well, what are the first things that people do when they want to know a little bit more about you and they want to know a little bit more about what your services are? Where do they go? And if they go to Google, where are you on that page? Are you at the top or are you at the bottom? Did you rank? Where are you rank? Well, today we're going to talk about how that really affects you and how that affects your business, how that affects the amount of money that you can make. And we've got a great expert to talk with us today about it. So stay tuned.
Linda gave me the courage, the confidence to move forward.
And after I was finished with Linda Kaye's training, I was at the next level.
It's Linda Kaye. But when you trust that piece of you that says, I got something to give, I have something to say, you know you've got something to do.
Get on your feet, shake your hands in the air. Welcome to the stage, Linda Kaye.
Welcome to Money Talk. And as I was saying just a few minutes ago, what does what you're projecting yourself say about you? What does it say about your services? Where are you in the rankings? How do you get people's attention? How do you get and hold and keep their attention so it turns into money? Well, today we're going to find out how that actually affects you. And I'd like to welcome to the table, to the conversation, Michael Tritthart. Sorry. Excuse me, Michael. So sorry. I'm like pushing buttons and okay. Michael Tritthart. So welcome.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you. And thank you for joining me. So talk to me about how we are leaving money on the table.
Sure. So it's one of the things that, let me kind of give you a little bit of a backstory on me and then we can jump right into that. But I've been training real estate agents, business owners since 2001. And prior to that, I was a middle school and high school teacher here in Texas. And so did that for 6 years. So education and training has always been on the forefront for me. And in the past, probably 10, 15 years, I've developed a couple different businesses, one of those being a website design company. And what has really morphed into our forte is helping other presenters create their content online to then turn that into a coaching program, to turn that into an affiliate program. We have one plan that's called the Gold Plan because it's military related. But basically, it's the advanced level that a lot of presenters, a lot of speakers want to get to, but they just don't have the expertise or they don't have the people in their world that can put that all together. And that's really become a huge opportunity for any of those speakers, presenters, podcasters, anybody that wants to create their ecosphere. That's what we really focus on.
That's an interesting word, ecosphere. Talk to me a little bit more about that. Where do we usually start when we go out to, say, start producing or projecting our services and our business besides word of mouth?
Yeah, I mean, it really what you have to do is you have to find your people, right? And it starts with networking. It starts with presentations, and everybody's at a different level with that. And I know a lot of people who just started by saying, hey, I'm going to do some free classes, kind of get my word out, get my name out there, get my word out there about what I'm focused on. And then it's going to grow from there. And then others have gone into the speaking world, and we're commanding X amount of dollars already for their speaking engagements and presentations and workshops and the such. Either way is fine. You do what works best for you and you do what works best for your topic, but go out and start to create that following. And I think the biggest part, the biggest roadblock to creating your ecosphere is you, right? Because everybody starts thinking, well, do people really want to hear that from me? I mean, would they pay to be part of a coaching program, and that's the
Right?
base.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
But wouldn't you say that a lot of how people perceive us or how people see us is when we're not even watching, when we don't even know that they're looking at us?
Totally. I mean, it's your online brand, right? It's your reputation that's out there. And what's really nice about what we do in creating the ecosphere is you have control over that, right? They log into your website, they see what you want them to see in terms of your video, in terms of your training, in terms of your resources, everything. And so you have the ability to really present your brand, which is quite honestly yourself, but then your products and your services in the right light and in the right venue for everyone to be able to go and take full access and full opportunity with all those resources.
Now there are a couple of types of you just said something interesting about would they log into your website. Now
Right.
that's assuming that you've sold something. They're not going to get logged into your website to see anything or to train anything or to get anything unless they've actually purchased a product from you. Would that be right?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, there's some where you can say, you know what, I want you to just sign up for my coaching program, and you're going to join us for our live StreamYard. But if you can't make it one Friday or whatever the case may be, we're going to have that in the back office of the website, and you can go out and see the archives at any point. It could start just with that, right?
Are
You don't
people
necessarily have to
actually doing this for free, Michael?
Say again.
Are people actually doing this for free?
There's some people out there that are offering their coaching program at minimal cost. I mean, the number one thing that most people do, like I said earlier, we are our own roadblocks, and then we undervalue our services so many times.
Oh, talk about that. Please stay right there for just a second and talk about the undervaluing of why do we do that?
It's human nature. We feel like, I don't want to overtax them. I don't want to burden them. Nobody's going to like me. Nobody's going to want to pay for that. And I was talking to another gentleman who runs a coaching program. And I said, so tell me about your coaching program. He goes, every Friday, we have a 30-minute call. They pay $97 a month to just join on that 30-minute call every Friday. I said, okay, what are you talking about? All the mistakes that I've made throughout my career and tell them not to do the same thing. He's like, that's it. And I've got 150 people signed up monthly. I'm like, that's, it can be as simple as that, right? But you got to put a value to it. And we always
because if you don't value it, will anybody else value it?
Exactly. Free 100%. Stuff. I mean, free. I don't like that word because there's value in everything. And instead of saying free, start thinking value stack, right? I'm going to have this podcast that Linda's going to talk to you about in wealth and investing and everything else. And in addition to that, we're going to add more value to the whole product. You're going to have this and this and this and this, instead of saying, hey, you're going to get a free this, you're going to get a free that. Because a lot of times in the human mind, when we hear free, we instinctively say, oh, there's no value to that. So if you start to offer the value stack where you start to provide so many different things to the offer, then people go, oh my gosh, well, I'd be crazy if I didn't take advantage of this.
True that. 100% true that. Michael, talk to me about and I know you've got a wealth of services and a number of things that people can take advantage of in terms of the website services, the SEO. What does it cost somebody to not have their website ranking, not have it up to date, having, with so many things going on with Google's algorithm changing, Facebook's algorithm changing, everything that's on the move, can we just leave our website static?
No, absolutely not. And again, there's that battle between social media and web design, right? And one side says, oh, you don't need the other. Well, you need both. But you have to have a website that is viable. And there's a lot of companies out there where I could go out. I'm not going to mention them by name because I don't want to demean them or anyways. But I could go out and buy a quote unquote website right off the shelf, create it in 10 minutes, and everybody goes, "Oh, look, I got a website." You have no SEO, no search engine optimization value from those websites. So they'll look pretty. They'll look nice. You give your card to somebody, and they may go out to your site and look at it and go, "Oh, that's nice." but you won't rank. You won't show up in the Google search results. And that's what really matters in today's world. And so a WordPress website that is properly designed, maintained, and has the SEO content throughout, that's a true game changer.
We hear SEO, we hear, and there's a lot of people out there offering services. What does it do for the website? Tell me, just give me a layman's breakdown of what does that mean, and put a dollar value on it.
Yeah, so I'll share a little story to explain it the best way. So my business partner, his name is Jeff Kaye, and Jeff is the former IT director for Petco. And he moved from California a couple years ago to Honolulu, but he kept he's a real estate agent as well. He kept his website up. And so if you go out and do a search for various phrases around the San Diego area for real estate topics and terms, his website comes up on the first page in many, many cases. So it's not necessarily people searching for Jeff, it's people searching for real estate related San Diego terms. He's on the first page, first spot. He collects 3 to 5 seller leads, buyer leads a week in the real estate world, and then just refers those out to agents that he knows, likes, and trusts in the San Diego area, and then collects the check from Waikiki Beach in Hawaii, which, that's a pretty good business plan. The value.
Stop there for a second, because that's money, and we are talking about money. So exactly. That is a great source and a great way of understanding how to monetize what you do when you are not even watching your pocketbook, except to see that money come in. So what you just talked about was being able to take a keyword phrase or something and associate that, tie that to your name. And when somebody is looking for something, what are they going to do? Every time you see it, once, twice, 100 times, oh no, here's that same commercial again. It's the same guy. What does that do in people's minds, Michael?
It's an imprint every time they see it. And I talk about this in my training sessions. I'm like, hey, if you see a green swoosh on a shoe, what is it? And everybody goes, Nike. I said, okay, what if it's pink? It's Nike. What if it's blue? What if it's red? Nike. Yeah, it's just that constant imprint. And so they're going to go out and they're going to see your brand over and over and over. And if your website is easy for them to go out and basically swipe and click and purchase, they're going to go out and do that, or to fill in the inquiry form about selling their home in San Diego or anything else, any other topic that you are focused on. And what that really leads into is passive income for your business and for your life.
That and those little dollars, pennies, they all add up. And so what he's using is not only the imprint of expertise and market dominance, but he's turning it into a dollar value by not just putting that perception in people's minds, but having people to feed that lead to. Right. I don't know about you, Michael, but I know what referral fees are worth. And in California, properties are not cheap. Let me just tell you that right now. I just bought one in San Diego, and I can tell you it wasn't cheap. But having a referral to something, and let's just say with the average, the average cost of a home in one of the more inexpensive places in the beach community is around $800,000-900,000. A referral fee on one side, meaning you got the listing or you got the buyer, you got the seller, that kind of money can lead to a 20%, I didn't say 5, I didn't say 10, a 20% referral fee. So if that transaction was, let's just use round numbers, $1 million. In $1 million on one side or the other, if you got one side or the other, the lead or the listing, the buyer or the seller, 20% of that million of a fee for that is a pretty substantial number. So if a fee is 2.5%, 3% of $1 million, $30,000, you just got 20% of something like that. That's huge.
Yes.
I'm going to do that all day long. And how long has he been doing that? How long did it take him to get that kind of market dominance?
So, one of the things too is, and this is probably one of the biggest myths about search engine optimization, is everybody has been told for years and years and years, you can't compete with the big box retailers and corporations. Like, they own that space. Like if I went out and searched for San Diego homes for sale, you're going to see a lot of big boxes, a lot of in the real estate world, a lot of big companies out there.
Well, and the big box in this instance might be Trillo or Zillow or
Yeah,
Pillow or Trulia, whatever,
exactly.
because they have elbowed their way into the market, and they do have dominance.
They
How do you
do.
beat them? They're the
Well,
big dog.
so what you got to do though is you got to go in and not attack at those levels. Like, San Diego homes for sale, they pretty much have those. But there's so many different nuances. There's so many different phrases that you can use for the San Diego area or any other area that will allow you to get to the first page. Because if you think about it, people, when they go out to Google, they go out to basically ask a question. It's not just San Diego homes for sale. It's like, how do I sell my home in San Diego? How do I buy a house in San Diego? Where should I buy a house in San Diego? And if you attack on those type of terms, then you're going to have major success. But you got to have the right attack vehicle, right? You got to have a WordPress website that's optimized. Otherwise,
Yeah, if you're going to do a full-on assault, you can't go in with a BB gun, can you?
Exactly.
I see the big Lone Star up behind you, Michael. Are you from Texas, y'all?
I am. Yeah, born in Oklahoma, but moved to Texas as fast as possible. That's what we all say when we lived.
There's a lot of Californians that are doing the exact same thing. I bet you guys are real thrilled about that, aren't you?
Well, we have them pass a test before they come into the States,
What do they have to pass?
We probably will leave that off of this StreamYard. But,
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've talked about a little bit about websites. Let's talk about rankings on Google or on Facebook, and how can we use these platforms and what you're doing and how you're advising your clients to take advantage of these platforms? Or is Facebook really in competition with that other search engine called YouTube? So am I going to Google or am I going to YouTube to find who or what I can be in as that expert?
Yeah. So one of the big, number one, the top two search engines in the world are Google and YouTube, which are both owned by Alphabet. So you cannot discount Google by no means. It's huge. Now you have your websites with your SEO, but then another thing that I train on, and actually got a class coming up next week, and we could build these for our clients, is your Google business profile page. And most people do not take advantage of that. It is completely free. It is the most powerful thing out there that Google provides to you, in my opinion, that nobody takes advantage of the right way. They come to my training classes and they're like, my mind is blown. I had no idea. I've had this for years and I haven't been doing it. I've got business owners that easily make over $500,000 a year just by having their page properly set up.
Wow, that is huge.
Yes.
What is the biggest, well, besides not actually filling it out, what are some of the other tips? Could you give us 3 things that we could possibly be doing on that profile page to make us stand out?
So the number one thing that we have to do is we got to get it set up, right? And here's another thing too, is one account, you can set up multiple businesses. So I have one account with Google, but I have a page for my business.
Say that again. Sure. Michael, that's huge.
Yeah, one account with Google. So it's easy for you to maintain, but then you go out and set up different businesses. So one of the businesses I have is my site, which is michaeltritthart.com. But then my son, who's also in college, but when he's home for the summer, he runs his mobile car detail business. So we set that up for him. That's what powers his business. And then we've also got an investment property in Florida that we've set up. You're not limited to 3. You can have as many of these pages as you want. So that's tip number 1 is, don't put yourself in a box and think, oh, I can only do it for one business, or I got to do multiple logins with Google. No, one login, different pages. Probably the biggest thing that you need to do to each one of these pages is get reviews. That's what drives the world, right? Not just with Google, but with everything. I mean, think about it. Think about your last 15 purchases, especially online. Many of you probably made that determination based off of review and price, right? And so reviews are huge. And so you've got to get as many of those as possible and get as many positive ones, of course, as possible. And then the second thing that you need to do, well, third total, but second thing to the specific page, is you got to go in and get as many photographs as possible on your Google business profile page. And one thing that I say in my classes is 150 equals 1,000. If you get 150 photographs on your Google business profile page, that equals a 1,000% increase in your visibility on Google. So you got to get those photos and videos in there.
That is huge.
Yes.
That's huge. So when you're getting those pictures, are you just simply adding a picture? Where are you pulling those pictures from? Because people, we walk around all day long identifying things and putting our profile and our stamp and our brand on everything that we do, right? So how do we do that? What's the simplest way for us to do that?
Sure. So I'll give you the example of my son. He just finished up 2 days worth of high intensive details. It's not just a car wash. It's like he is the most detailed car detailer that I've ever seen, and his clients will say the same. But he did 2 days.
My car was in Texas right now.
Yeah, exactly. He did 2 days of corporate cleanings the past couple of days. Sent me 80-something photographs, and he just texted it over to me. I then go in. I have created his logo at Canva, and I have that saved on my phone. And then I have a blank white photograph saved on my phone, which is very strange. Everybody's like, what was that? Just stark white photograph. And then I downloaded an app called EasyWatermark.com. EasyWatermark.com. And the pro version allows me to go in and create a template, and the white background is the background, or the white photograph is the background of the template. And then I drop the logo in, and I kind of place it at the bottom. And it took me all of maybe 45 seconds to select the 80 photographs that he sent me, pull them into the app, choose them, and then watermark his logo onto those. And then all of his marketing pieces are already created and stamped and branded with his information. And I do the same for my business as well, too.
You know, that's an interesting thing that you just brought up about watermarks. You know, when in a world where you have to question everything. I mean, everything, things that you see, things that you hear, things that you even experience. Did I just see that? Did I just hear that? Did I just experience it? But in the internet world and all of our things that go out there, it is so easy for anybody to take what we have, things that we've created, things that are our intellectual property, and strip it off, and it becomes somebody else's, and they're suddenly, because they know how to market, they're making money on it. You just said the most magical thing that I could have ever heard, and I want you to repeat that about the watermarks.
Yeah, so in going in and setting up these watermarks, I do it with EasyWatermark.com, which is an app that you can download, get the pro version. It's about $6 a year, or actually, I'm sorry, $6 one time. It's not even an annual. Best $6 you're ever going to spend. And then I go in and I drop in to the template a blank white photograph, and then I drop the logo on top of that, and then save it. And then that gives me the ability to go out and batch watermark. So I batch watermarked about 80 to 85 photographs for him. And I do mine on a daily basis. So whenever I'm going out and I'm doing in-person or Zoom workshops, I'm always taking photographs. People take photographs in class. I'm like, hey, send those to me. I'd love to have that marketing content. But instead of me just going out and posting it and saying, hey, Michael was here doing this class and everybody in the room was awesome and all this other type of stuff, to where I lose control over that image, I'm going to watermark those first. I'm going to put my call to action on there, which number one is going to secure that brand. It's going to secure that image, but then it's also going to create very easy marketing for me. Now for my son, because he's a mobile car detailer, he wants people calling him. And so he will get phone calls from people going, hey, can you come out to Plano, Texas? Can you come out to Melissa or Anna, Texas, and clean my truck? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. Oh, curious. How'd you find me? Oh, I was on the internet. I was just looking up mobile car detailers. I saw your photos. I saw the phone number on there. I gave it a call. He's like, okay, perfect. So he knows it works.
It is such an easy thing to do. You've given us some really incredible tips, Michael. And I want to know, how do people reach you? How do people find you? And I did put your website up on there, but tell me again and tell them again how they can reach you.
Yeah, if you can put the website link up there again, I would appreciate it. But it's simple. It's michaeltritthart.com, and there's a couple different paths that we can go. If you're looking to work with us, then you would want to go to the services page, and the very first thing on that page is an online success review. And that's a conversation that you have with Jeff, my business partner, the former IT director of Petco, the one that lives in Honolulu. You're going to have a Zoom conversation, which is truly a coaching call about your online brand. He's going to take a look prior to the call as to what's out there, social media, website, and everything. And from that, he's going to create what we call the blueprint. He's going to create your online your online blueprint. And from that, you'll know what you need to do to have success to get to the first page of Google. And it's a blueprint that you could do, your 12-year-old IT genius could do, your designer could do it, we could do it. It's whatever path you want to go. It's basically like a blueprint for building a house. And then the second path that you could move forward with us is, if you're interested in hosting any of my training sessions, let me know, and we can bring this out to your organization, to your area, and we can show all the great lead generation techniques that will help you to build passive income for yourself, for others. So many different opportunities that we can help you.
We've talked about a couple of ways of doing passive income just in this session. And there are many ways that you can generate passive income. But one of the things I heard was certainly through the referrals business, where you have now dominated an expertise and a market share and mindset, and then being able to turn it into referrals. That's a great lead gen system. I know you have a lead gen system, and we all talk about lead gen. Wouldn't you love to have a lead gen system that just did this work for you, so you don't have to pick up that call and make those hard calls?
Right.
Talk to us just a second about this.
Yeah. So, I mean, really what has really become our lead gen system is the training, right? Going out and getting in front of people. And again, I think that gets back to our original discussion of the mental roadblock. Like, oh, nobody wants to hear from me. Nobody wants to know the things that I've learned. If you can go out and create a training program that you can present to others, that is going to be the platform that you can then start to build residual referral income off of that. Because then they're going to go and say, hey, Linda, I want to know more. I want to work with you further. Do you have a coaching program? Is there any other resources that I can go and check out? And so that is the driver for me, but as the driver for many of the other business professionals that we work with as well.
You also mentioned another source, and one of them, I want to think of it. It doesn't generate passive income, but it generates your passive marketing by having that watermark, because we all take pictures. We all have content that we've been at an event. We want to see and show that we've been someplace. So taking that opportunity, having a free place for you to be able to put your marking, to do your brand on. You also talked about a few other things. One of them was passive income on real estate, and using your Google page to also make sure that your content and your presence and your marketing strategy is fitting right underneath one place where you do its control. Talk to me just a second about your passive income. What made you decide to get that little piece of real estate?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a couple different pieces of real estate, and really what we look at is I've got, and I call them buckets. I got about 18 different buckets of passive income. Now some are pretty big buckets. Some are like little teacups, right? And a couple bucks here and there, but everything adds up at the end.
It all adds up.
Yeah, absolutely. But real estate is always, historically has been one of the best drivers of income and one of the best investments that anybody can make. And so we being around the power of others, the influence of others, and you see what they do, you really learn how to not only manage your money, but grow your money. And that was a very fortunate circle that we were in. And we learned a lot from cashflowtactics.com on how to take a whole life insurance policy and then set that up. Because number one, everybody needs insurance. But then number two, take the money that you put into the whole life, and then in turn, take that and use that to invest in property, invest in land, and really start to grow. And that's what we've done.
Michael, I want to thank you for joining us today. So many great ideas. Please take advantage of this man's mind and his team, because there is so much to learn about where we want to be, where we want to grow our business, how to grow our business, and how we're going to get there. Michael, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for hosting. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome. So welcome. So please join me again next week where we come into our conversation about money and money talk. Thank you for joining us. Do you like to talk about money? If you do and you'd like to be a guest, contact me at lindakay360.com.